Hey, welcome to Try This from the Washington Post. Try This is a show that offers concise, vetted solutions to navigate life's common challenges. I'm Christina Quinn, and I'm learning with you, per usual. If you've been a listener of this feed for a while, you've come to know that Try This delivers you courses with takeaways that feel doable. Well, we decided that we want to bring you doable advice more often. So we're going to start having weekly conversations with guests who can deliver the kind of science and reporting-backed insight that you've come to love from Try This. But have no fear. We will also still make courses and release them as soon as they're ready. So stay tuned to this feed for everything you love about Try This, but more of it. So for today's episode, I managed to wrangle a seasoned jet setter into the studio.
My name is Natalie Compton. I'm a travel reporter with the Washington Post.
No, seriously, it's hard to catch Natalie because she is often airborne. And that's why we need to hear from her. She has invaluable intel about all things travel, whether you're going overseas or traveling domestically. By the end of this episode, you will be a smarter traveler. Thanks for taking the time out of your jet-setting lifestyle to speak with me.
Of course.
We would love to know how to be better travelers, smarter travelers. I think many of us are often worried that we are either spending too much or not getting the best deal or potentially getting fleeced. Mm-hmm. Do you have any tips on that? Because I think people always want that advice, and we either A, forget how to do it, or B, think that maybe there's some new hack that we missed.
We, all of us, are guilty of thinking, oh, I have a flight coming up. I will do that later. And then your trip is around the corner and you go, oh my God, the last time I looked at this, it was one price. Now it's double. I have goofed again. The best way to avoid this is as soon as you know that the trip is something that you want to do, set up price alerts. I use Google Flights, but you can also use, there are different services that offer it. Going, which used to be called Scott's Cheap Flights, now it's called Going. They offer tools that will help you track flight prices. You can use things like Kayak, Skyscanner. All of these websites offer you like a sleuth of somebody who is like a computer robot entity that is watching those flight prices for you. And when they reach, a certain threshold, oh, this is a deal, or we think it's going up, they will alert you. Mm-hmm. And then you book. But I also love Going for just seeing deals in general. Like you said, you were saying, I don't know if I'm going to Europe this summer because it seems too expensive. You will find that there are a lot of deals all the time that you wouldn't think to look for unless you had an algorithm who is like sending you automatic emails. So I get deals all the time and I send them to people being like, oh, you got to go to Australia next month because the deal's too good not to take up. That's cheaper than what I paid to go to Fresno, California to see my parents recently.
Right.
Often, flight prices are so mysterious and they are based off a number of factors, but you can find so many deals. So even just getting those deals emails gives me hope in the travel world, knowing that it's not always going to be $1,000 to get to your hometown, or you can find certain times of year are much cheaper. Mm-hmm. For example, I'm flying out of New York to go to Europe soon. And every day I get a little treat and I go, I should be going to Kenya next month. Yeah, I should be going to these places because the deal is too good.
Yeah, no, I get that. Is there a best day of the week to book flights?
There was a time when the cheapest day to book a flight was Tuesday.
Okay. I remember that.
Was a thing for a while. It is not true anymore. There is some wisdom that says Tuesday is still often a cheaper time to fly. So if you are looking at days of the week to fly, Tuesday, Wednesday, they can be cheaper than people are usually trying to go on a Monday or a weekend. So Tuesday is no longer the cheapest day to book a flight, but it can be cheaper to actually fly on a Tuesday.
Got it.
That is a myth that we are trying to put to bed. It perpetuates nonetheless.
Right. Because the thing is, that probably confuses people because if you can fly out Tuesday, then they're like, well, it's Tuesday. But no, flying out is one thing. Booking it on a Tuesday is a different thing. Got it.
There's really not much difference on the day of the week that you're looking to buy a flight. Flight prices are impacted by hundreds of variables, and it can change from hour to hour, minute to minute, things change. And so people often have conspiracy theories related to like, if I thought about a flight, did that change the price? Or should I be booking through my phone versus my laptop? So far, there's no good consumer data on those conspiracies being true. But what we do know is really doesn't matter which day of the week that you book your flight.
This actually makes me wonder, so does it make more sense to also look at prices in incognito mode? Or
it really
like
doesn't matter.
Really?
They say that there's, they're not tracking cookies and penalizing you. It is related to that, like, what is the value of that ticket at that time based on demand, based on jet fuel, based on all these different things, based on how many seats are left on that plane. And so it is possible that like you booked that last cheapest fare bucket fare, and now the next one that you book is going to be higher. So it's definitely good to toggle between I'm booking for one person, I'm booking for two or three or four, and just seeing how it changes. Sometimes it does change, sometimes it doesn't change.
So many variables, so many things.
It's so complicated. It is the most complicated secret that is out there. And obviously, airlines don't like to talk about what their algorithm secret sauce is because they don't want their competitors to do the same. There's like regulations about it.
Right.
So it remains this loose mystery to us.
Nebulous buckets. Is it, okay, so speaking of myths, actually, we talked about myths. What about buying 2 one-way tickets instead of a round-trip ticket? Because I swear there are times where I'm like, oh my God, it's $67 one way, but round trip, it's $320. But then when I go dig a little deeper, that's actually usually not the case.
It's complicated and it is confusing, and I have done the same. Often you might find deals like if you were doing one-way tickets to different airports, like that can be valid. It often has to do with like the taxes or the fees of using one airport, or like if you're flying to one place. I've noticed myself flying to Europe one way is a lot cheaper than flying one way from Europe to the United States for whatever reason. An airfare expert told me this was related to taxes or airport fees. So again, I'm not going to pretend to be the expert on how airlines make all of their prices because it is so complicated. But I do think that it is worth looking at one-way fares just in case, like you're saying. But often you might have better luck if you're looking on Google Flights for one-ways. They might pair you with multiple airlines. So you might find a deal that like a one-way on American was cheap, and then coming back, Spirit might be cheaper than, your round trip with one or the other.
Right. Okay. So long as you don't have a bag.
Yeah. Travel light. That is the number one tip for any of this. Travel light, summer storms, they're losing your bag sometimes, or you're getting delayed on your connection. It is always better to have a carry-on bag instead of a check bag. I'm begging you, stop checking a bag.
Are you checking your bag when you go to Europe?
No.
What? You're doing a carry-on? And you're going to be gone for like 5 weeks, right?
I'm going to be gone for a month. I'm carry-on only as long as it makes sense. I know that there are people that doesn't work for, like people with young kids that they're traveling with, extra gear, a pack and play, people who are traveling with medical equipment. It's not often feasible just to do a carry-on bag. But for me, it is totally doable to travel with less clothes. I do not need to impress anybody on the internet with my fashion. I am just trying to be as nimble as possible. So carry-on only, baby.
Man, I really need to know how you do it because I like options. So I'm like, well, I do need to pack 5 pairs of shoes, because there are different reasons for different pairs of shoes. I mean,
of course, when the mood strikes, you want to have that other shoe. And for a lot of people, if you're traveling, it doesn't matter if you have a big bag. And but there are times when you don't want to be stuck with a big bag trying to go up, from your taxi to a hotel that's up a few flights of stairs, or navigating cobblestone streets with that loud roller bag. I can't. I won't. Not now. Not yet. So I just really swear by being a minimalist, repeating outfits, going and doing some laundry along the way. A laundromat in a foreign destination or even a domestic destination, or getting an Airbnb that has a laundry machine is not the end of the world. It is sometimes adds to the plot.
Right.
A new memory.
Now you're like one of the locals,
now I'm like one of the locals.
Yeah. Hanging your laundry up.
Oh my God.
Dude, it's...
Yeah, I'll see you at the DMV next.
I am curious to know about, sort of like what you do pack. I mean, what are the things that you always travel with?
Well, I think something that is key to making the one carry-on bag work is compression bags. There are multiple versions of this. One has like a pump, an electric pump or a handheld pump to like suck all the air out of your bag and make your stuff a lot smaller. I use one that doesn't have extra equipment like that. It's just essentially a big Ziploc bag that you roll and you squish all the air out, and then your stuff goes to this tiny little pancake of your clothing. So I always travel with that, at least one or two. I'll bring like a second one for dirty clothes and, trap all of the dirties in one.
All the funk
vessel.
in one.
All the funk marinating in one. I also always travel with an eye mask. An eye mask signals to your body it's time to go to bed. You're in a new environment. You're already going to have trouble sleeping. You're going to have trouble sleeping on the plane or in a new hotel room. Maybe this place has a lot of light where you're trying to sleep. This is both blocking out that light and also telling your body it's bedtime.
Right.
Night.
Yes.
And so it's serving
that
as
melatonin production.
Yes. So I'm always traveling with an eye mask. I'm always traveling with compression bags. I am always traveling with a neck pillow. This is maybe a bulkier option, but I think that it's a very personal journey to pick a neck pillow that works for you. Some people want like a lot of cushion.
Yeah.
Some people just need like a little something to help with neck support. I like the Turtle. It is like a plastic piece that's covered in like a felt material that really just gives you a little something so you can lean. And if you're traveling on a red eye, often if you're going to Europe, it's an overnight flight. Anytime that you might be sleeping, or if you're going to take a long bus journey or like drive to a national park and you get to be in the passenger seat, bring that neck pillow. That'll help you get a little more sleep. Bonus points to do the neck pillow, eye mask, maybe a face mask so you can cover up that you're like full mouth drooling. I know some people who travel with mouth tape to avoid that as well. And if it's a big trip, I always bring a travel journal. I think that we all have our phones and we can take pictures all the time, but it is a nice activity if you're like slowing down or it's like a honeymoon or it's a special trip. I bring a Polaroid camera and a travel journal and I write down memories of the trip. That's, my nostalgia mode. But in addition to the practical stuff, I think you do need to have room for whimsy.
Yes.
So don't sleep on a travel journal.
I love that. Let's get down into some logistics though.
Please.
Because I think people think, okay, my passport, I have a U.S. passport. It's not going to expire. I'm good to travel this year. But sometimes it depends on where you're going. Is that correct?
That is correct. And the standard rule of thumb is a lot of countries require 6 months validity on your passport. And if you don't have that, you will be turned away either at the airport or you could fly all the way there if a gate agent didn't check your passport, show up and they go, you can't come in. So if you are traveling within 2 weeks, you can get this urgent appointment to try to get that passport in time. And we have seen people be able to do this. Or if you're traveling for a life or death emergency, you can get it in a couple days. You don't want to get to that point, so check your passport ahead of time. Right now, it is about 4 to 6 weeks for an expedited passport renewal. So if you are traveling this summer, check that ahead of time.
All right. Okay. So it never hurts. Check your passport, valid for at least 6 months beyond your return date. Make sure that is the case.
Yes.
What about visas? Is there an easy way to check visa requirements for travelers who are going somewhere for the first time?
I would definitely look at the country's like U.S. Embassy website or the State Department website has all this information. Don't leave it up to ChatGPT or anything. Go to the actual government website to see what the requirements are. It may have changed since the last time you've gone. For now, London, going to the UK, I think a lot of people don't realize that you need this new electronic travel situation that you apply for online ahead of time. It's about $20. Even if you're transferring through, you need it. And so just doing your homework and seeing, do I need anything to go to this place? Even if you've been before, double check. You never know if it's changed. And even if in the past you might have needed one that you needed to apply for very early in advance, they may have upgraded their systems and you can do it online now. It could be faster than you think. So checking with the State Department website or U.S. Embassy website in that country is huge. Don't skip it.
Interesting.
And I always encourage people to download Mobile Passport. If you are traveling outside of the country and you don't have global entry, Mobile Passport is like global entry, but free. You don't have to sign up for it in advance and get, with global entry, you have to do an appointment at the airport. This is a procrastinator's dream. You can download it as your plane is landing, like once you get to home airport for you. Download this. It takes a couple minutes to punch in all of your information, and then you cut the entire customs and immigration line like a celebrity, and it's incredible. I get through in like 4 minutes, 10 minutes tops. It's still something that people are not familiar with, even though it is free, even though it is incredible. Download Mobile Passport if you're traveling anywhere international.
So Mobile Passport is for entry and re-entry to the U.S., but who runs that?
It is a program that was purchased by Customs and Border Patrol, so now it is owned by the U.S. government. And they have signs around the airport that say MPC, and they could be better at, showing people. I think the problem is at the airport, there are a lot of signs in general, and people get lost and being like, crew, diplomats, I don't know. I'm going to follow where most people are going. Yeah. So look for MPC. You might even see signs that encourage people to download them. And I've even seen airlines running ads for people to download it. So they're trying to get awareness out there.
Yeah.
And then you get through very, very quickly. So do yourself a favor, MPC.
Let's talk about Real ID. We know we need to have a Real ID now. Yes. To travel anywhere within the U.S. Having your old-fashioned, typical, standard issue license doesn't cut the mustard anymore. If you don't have a Real ID, but you do have a license and a valid passport, that works too, correct?
You can have other alternate approved forms of ID to get through without a Real ID. A passport is really the most common one. But if you go to the TSA website or the Department of Homeland Security website, they have a list of all of them because they have many that you would never think of would be possible. One thing that they have said, your Costco membership card will not count as a Real ID. So don't try that.
Nice try, guy.
Yeah. This segment is called Don't Try This. Costco membership card does not act as a Real ID.
That's actually on the website?
Yeah. TSA recently made a post about this that was like, that's not going to do it.
But what are some other valid forms of identification?
I think there's one, like a military ID, your global entry card should do the trick, but definitely try to get this Real ID as soon as possible, or have those alternate forms of ID with you.
I have not gotten my Real ID yet.
Well, what?
But I will try this and get one.
Oh.
Because my license is like not expiring until next year, and I still have a valid passport.
Yes.
So I'm kind of like, just bring both,
Right. And we have also heard of people who show up at the airport, they have a Real ID, they show it to the TSA agent, and they go, this isn't a Real ID. The thing is that every state has their own spin on the Real ID. Some have a yellow star, some have a black star. They all look a little different. And so your TSA agent may not have been trained on every single one, what looks like. So if you know that you do have one, be ready to just say, hey, no, this really is it. You can pull up, the example online. Don't panic. They might just not know what the Real ID looks like, which is silly, but that has happened.
Where would you actually, what's the first thing that comes to mind when somebody says to you, I'm traveling this summer, what should I do?
I think for a lot of Americans, when they think of summer travel, one of the hottest summer dreams is going to Europe. We've seen Italy dominate summer travel lore for the last 10 years, really. I don't know if I blame Diane Lane Under the Tuscan Sun, but there's probably something there. We love Italy, and we can't get enough. Every year I talk to travel advisors, and they're like, Italy, number one spot, Italy, number one spot. And I've been waiting for it to wane, and it hasn't happened. So I would say if you can't afford to do that, there are plenty of other places in Europe that you could go that are less expensive and less crowded than Italy. Right now, people are very excited about the Balkans. People are excited about Montenegro, Croatia, Albania. Is it this alternate to Italy with the same beautiful beaches, stunning mountains? People also speak very highly of Poland. This is another destination where you can get castles and history and mountains and beaches for a fraction of the price as going to a French Riviera or in Italy.
What about Portugal? Because I hear a lot of people go to Portugal. Is it a little bit more cost effective at times than, say, Spain or Italy?
People love Portugal for the sun, for the food. They also say it is much more affordable than some of the other European hotspots that people flock to. So Portugal, food, accommodations, especially if you're getting out of Lisbon, can be much less expensive than those other popular locations. But yeah, Spain also has incredibly affordable food. You can get stuck with some expensive accommodations, but when it comes to some of that quality of life, kind of special day-to-day stuff, that is often cheaper than you'd find even in the United States.
When we come back, how to handle the crowds, stay safe, and make the most out of your travel destination by going off the beaten path. Let's talk about overtourism. How do you avoid crowds but still see the iconic sites?
Right. If you, have everything together and you can travel abroad or even within the United States, there are some places that are suffering under the weight of overtourism. It's a really hard conversation to have because there are destinations on this planet that are so special that everybody wants to go see them. And especially if you've already gone, like I've gone and seen Florence or Venice. For me to say, don't go there, it's over-touristed, doesn't seem fair because it is, these places are so special. If you can give those destinations a break, we're talking Yellowstone, we're talking, Paris is such a big city that they don't feel the over-tourism the same way that a Venice would. But if you can try to go to any of the world's most popular places off-season, Venice is still spectacular if you go in the fall or outside of the holiday rush in the winter, trying to give these places a break. And if you do go, don't be a jerk. I think a big part of the over-tourism conversation is like people showing up, being like, oh my God, there are all these crowds here. This is horrible. The trash cans are overflowing. Like, this sucks. Like, go be like, okay, maybe I really do want to see the Trevi Fountain. This is the only time of year that my kids can get a break. Like, go be a respectful tourist. Anticipate that you're going to have a really stressful day and that it is going to be crowded. Don't take it out on the local server who is destined to give a lot of crappy people their gelato.
Yeah.
And get in, get out. Don't linger too long.
Is this why some European cities have the timed ticket system to manage the droves of people who want to see major attractions?
So, great question. You should check to see what the current thing is, but I know they've been experimenting with different things. You had to pay a couple euro. I don't know the exact what they've landed on, but you can expect that everywhere in Rome is going to be crowded all summer long, thanks to the Jubilee, thanks to the new Pope, thanks to it being summer in Italy, and it is always crowded. But if there are things that you want to do, like go to the Colosseum, go to the Trevi Fountain, go online and see what the protocols are, see if you can get tickets if you need tickets. But there are new rules, especially in Rome, of visiting tourist destinations. So if you haven't been in a long time, things have changed. There are more people. And there are more rules as a result.
Yeah.
Hire a local guide in some of these places to give back to the local economy and not just like going in, seeing the Mona Lisa and leaving.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell people, don't go see that amazing, beautiful thing.
Right.
The good news is the whole world is full of spectacular things that just haven't gone viral. And so you can still have an amazing trip by not going to Florence in the peak summer.
Right. Does it make sense to book some of these local tours ahead of time, like before you even leave the U.S.?
Oh, absolutely. With any good tour guide, they get booked up well in advance, and maybe they have a cancellation and they can get you in. But you should definitely be booking those guides well in advance, because especially if you're talking about some of those most popular places, they're booked. They're same with hotels. If you're going to a popular place, you need to start planning months and months in advance. Some people plan a year in advance, so get ahead of them.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So now we know what to do about crowds. What about heat? How do you plan trips around extreme heat? Because these countries do get hot. I mean, a lot of countries get hot in the summertime because it's summer.
Right. Yeah, I get people asking about cooler vacations. But if you're talking about Greece, Italy, France, those places are so hot in the summer. We saw in Athens, they had to shut down going to ruins because they were too hot. Like they couldn't have people working there. It was a safety issue for people. We've seen lots of wildfires in Greece and Portugal and France. So going to Italy and a lot of Western or Southern Europe in the summer is going to be very hot. We have seen people changing their travel preferences as a result. A lot of people underestimate the heat. We see people go to national parks unprepared. They don't have enough water. They don't have, they're wearing clothes that is exposed to the sun. You really want to make sure that you're wearing stuff that is heat appropriate. Having that water, letting people know where you are. If you have health concerns and you're worried about the heat, like don't test it by going to a crazy hot place and going on some crazy walking tour and you're stuck out there. So it's something that you have to factor into summer travel a lot more now than ever before.
Okay. What are some of the best ways to stay cool and safe while sightseeing in the summer heat? Like, are there any places that have a good mix of both hot and cold?
I remember going to Provence in France, and somebody said the way to tell a tourist from a local was locals will always cross over to the shady part of the street, whereas, a visitor's like not paying attention to the sun. I think people who live in really hot places know the drill, avoiding the afternoon sun, not doing your most active thing when it is the hottest outside, packing water. We've seen a huge uptick in people traveling with portable fans. I have tested some of those fans and I wasn't like, I could stay out in the 120 degrees forever, but it does give you some relief. You could also do things like bring a cooling towel, which is you just get it wet, you wear it around your neck. That can bring immense relief. But really just paying attention to how your body is feeling and not pushing it, making sure you're eating regularly and paying attention. Do I feel a little dizzy? Am I going to fall over in the Coliseum? Like get yourself out of the heat and hydrating as soon as possible instead of testing it.
And then maybe even setting things up maybe earlier in the morning or late evening?
We talked about this in a story last year of see things at night. Things like going to Washington, D.C. and seeing the monuments after dark is so special.
Gorgeous.
Seeing the Eiffel Tower lit up at night. Walking around New York City is just dazzling as well. Seeing the skyscrapers lit up.
Right.
So if you can shift things to that early morning time, going night mode on your travel destinations, that can still be fun and exciting, using that afternoon time to hang out by the pool or have a siesta.
Yeah.
Don't try to do everything and cram it into the afternoon.
Yeah.
One of my favorite travel apps of the moment is Airbnb, because not only of their staying options, but because they now offer so many experiences. I've used this in the past to book walking tours, food tours, tour guides, private guides. You can do this in your hometown. You can do this when you're traveling, but it's a great marketplace for seeing what's available where you are. So don't just see Airbnb as a accommodations booking. This is also great for activities.
That is so cool. So, and then are you often, like, do you come across offerings that are not your typical, like, traditional tours? Are you getting things off the beaten path?
There are very silly ones. There are very practical ones. One that is popular in just about every place that I look at them are photography tours. Like somebody will follow you and be your personal photographer.
Your paparazzo.
Your paparazzi. So that can be very sweet if you're traveling as a family and you don't, you want some nice family photos together, or you're like gonna get engaged somewhere, having these like nice, especially if you're not somebody who's like automatically thinking I got to take a picture in this moment. So hiring a photographer to follow you around for an hour or two. Definitely lots of food, brewery. I took a sake educational experience when I got to Tokyo, so I have more language to explain what I liked and didn't like about sake. And I have seen all kinds of them. When I go to Berlin soon, I found a tour guide there that explained the nightlife culture, and you went to the clubs during the day and like learned about the history of nightclubs in Berlin. So there's really something for everybody, and it's very fun to just look on there and go, okay, I didn't realize that I could ask for like a popcorn making experience in this random town. Now I know.
I love that.
It's really a helpful tool for people who are trying to build out their travel experiences. And I'm a fan.
And let's not forget about Google Translate in case you're in a place where you don't know each other's language.
You never know.
You never know.
And they have services in Google Translate. Like you could take a picture of a thing and it'll translate it for you. iPhones now do this as well. If you take a picture of something and there's text in it, it will translate it for you if you tap around a little bit. But I love Google Translate for talking to a taxi driver, talking to somebody trying to get more information, or, asking like where a thing is that you need. So having Google Translate downloaded is huge.
Okay. This is all good advice. I'm ready to hop on a flight right now. Any final thoughts before I do?
I think that summer travel is one of the busiest seasons for travel all over the world, whether you're domestic or internationally bound. It is so important to be a good traveler, and people say this all the time, pack your patience, be aware that this is when lots of other people are going, and you can expect hurdles like very crowded airports, lots of traffic on the roads, and just be ready to give people the benefit of the doubt. Don't snap. Be relaxed. Pack your own snacks. Pack your portable charger so you're not in dire straits and just desperate on the road. But it's just really important to do everybody a solid and be kind and patient as you're traveling in this heinously busy time of year.
Excellent advice. And if you're not going anywhere this summer, book something for the winter for the best deal.
Yeah, we always say that the best time of year to book your travel is the opposite season. So if it is summer, looking ahead to your holiday travel, which is also expensive and also good to get a head start on, setting up your price alerts for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Eve travel now. Mm-hmm. And even if summer was too expensive for you, looking in the off season, looking for a fall trip, even to a beach destination, can still feel summery at a fraction of the cost. So plan for something to keep positive on your horizon and keep you going through the summer slog.
I love it. Natalie, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Bon voyage.
Oh,
on all of your travels, bon voyages, right? If it's more than one, bon voyages.
Yes, please.
You can follow Natalie for more insider travel tips on Instagram at natbco. That's NATBCO. I, for one, will be taking her up on the tip to set up airline ticket alerts through a number of the apps and sites she mentioned. And fine, yes, I will get a real ID. Ugh. In the meantime, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. And the best way to support this work is by subscribing to The Washington Post. You can do that at washingtonpost.com/subscribe or through the link in our show notes. And finally, if you have suggestions for what you'd love to hear, please send them our way at trythis@washpost.com. This episode of Try This is hosted by me, Christina Quinn. Produced also by Thomas Liu. Additional producing by Taylor White and Charlotte Freeland, who also produced video of this episode, which you can find on YouTube. The episode was edited by Allison Michaels and Kanya Krit von Kitkajorn. Sound design and mixing is by Sam Baer. Theme music is by Katherine Anderson. Show art is by Kati Huertas. Find our courses on how to get better sleep, making the most of your friendships, how to enjoy cooking more, and how to break free from your dopamine addiction, right here on the Try This feed. Thanks for listening.